I had heard about this story a little bit ago, but it seemed like there for a while the channel was, every other video was somebody chopping off somebody's head for a demon, and I felt like it was becoming a bit much, you know? But yeah, this is a freaking horrible story about just two girls minding their own business, enjoying a birthday party, and they didn't know that it was going to be their last. Before we get to the story, I do want to thank you guys for your support and for watching my videos. It means a whole lot to me. If you know any other weirdos, please don't hesitate to share my content and bring other weirdos together so we can all be weirdos in the same weirdo family.
That's it. Mate, you're under arrest. Come out the address. Keep walking towards me. Stay where you are. Hands on your head. Stay where you are. Face me. Hands on your head. Stay where you are. You're under arrest, alright?
Yeah, how do you want to do it? Do you want to face the car? Yeah?
Yeah.
From Uniform Zero, just confirm subject secure.
Well, depends on number 6. If you just stay where you are for now. If police aren't with
I think I'm
taser.
being clear in a second.
Is there a mum in there?
Yeah, there is.
Okay, madam, if you come to the door for us, please. Okay.
Do you have any injuries?
Yeah.
Just the wrists from the cuffs?
No.
Oh. How did that happen?
Sorry?
How did that happen?
Oh, is this the interview?
That was a question. The injuries on your fingers. What happened there? Okay, don't worry. How do you feel right now?
I'm really shocked, to be honest. I'm really confused and scared. I don't know what's going on exactly.
On June 7th, 2020, sisters Biba Henry and Nicole Smallman were stabbed to death by Danyal Hussein in Friant County Park in Kingbury, northwest London. Hussein bought a balaclava from Amazon and a knife block from Asda. He went to the park to search for victims and came across the two sisters, Nicole and Biba. Unaware of Hussein's presence, Smallman and Henry were enjoying the final hours of Henry's birthday. Around 1 a.m., Hussein attacked both of them with a knife. He stabbed Henry 8 times and sliced and cut up Smallman about 40 times. Then Hussein threw the sisters' phones in a pond and dragged their bodies into the woods, left them lying on top of each other, and went home. The police said that their backs were completely torn up due to having been dragged across the ground with their bare backs. After not being able to get in touch with her daughters for 2 days, Mina Smallman called the police. But they didn't really offer her much help initially. So she decided she was going to take matters into her own hands. So she sent out Nicole's boyfriend Adam to search for them. He was talking to the police on the phone when he found their bodies. Well, now the police want to be involved. It's now become a murder. Well, a double murder now. DNA was pulled from the scene that led back to Dan. Well, in actuality, it led back to his father because I guess apparently he had a past as well. So special forces raided their flat. Smallman had fought back against Hussein. During their fight, he had cut himself with his knife and lost the weapon in the dark somewhere. Police followed the DNA straight to his door. There, they found ample evidence. When I tell you that they had this man, in the investigation, they had so much evidence against him. It was considered overwhelming, including the pact he had written for the demon, blood and all. What I have here is the sentencing remarks from the Honorable Justice Miss Whipple, which is an amazing freaking name. So sit back and relax, because this shit is so crazy how they had this man down. In the early hours of Saturday, June 6th, 2020, you brutally murdered Nicole Smallman and Bibba Henry. The two sisters had been celebrating Bibba's birthday with a group of friends. The evening was warm, and the group had gathered in the Fayette County Park in Brent, northwest London. The friends had gone home, leaving Nicole and Bibba in the park to enjoy each other's company. At 1:13 in the morning, a photo on Nicole's phone shows them dancing together and playing with fairy lights in the darkness. By 1:26 that morning, Bibba's phone was locked, as if someone had tried the code and couldn't access it. That was you trying to access Bibba's phone. You had found these two women. You were a stranger to them. You surprised them. You terrified them. You killed them. Both women died from stab wounds. The injuries inflicted on them were appalling. Bibba probably died first, suffering 8 stab wounds. There was no sign that she tried to fight off her assailant. Nicole probably died second. She suffered 40 stab wounds and incisions. She had wounds to her right hand and her left arm that showed she had tried to fight you off. In that fight, your own right hand was seriously cut. She couldn't save herself or her sister from you. You dragged both women by the feet into the bushes nearby. Their backs were covered in abrasions where you had dragged them, dead, along the ground. Then you positioned their bodies in an embrace. This was to defile these women in death and to attempt to conceal what you had done. You stole their phones. Data stored on these phones shows that you wandered around the park trying to access the phone without success. Then you threw both phones into a pond in the park, another attempt at concealment of evidence. You went home. Getting back to your father's home at about 4:10 a.m., you were half clothed and your hand was covered by your jacket. The bodies of these two women were not discovered until the morning of Sunday, June 7th, 2020. By then, friends of the two women were looking for them, and their close circle were very worried about them. It was Adam Stone, Nicole's boyfriend, who found their bodies. What a horrifying sight he encountered. His victim impact statement talks of the ongoing mental torment, the trauma, the images from the 7th of June. He says those images remain forged in his mind. He says, "I will never be able to unsee what I saw." There are various aspects of the evidence which stood out during trial. First, there was evidence which showed how you had meticulously planned these murders. On June 3rd, 2020, you ordered various items from Amazon, including a balaclava and 2 folding shovels. Later that day, you went to Asda and Collindale, where you purchased a knife block, including the knife that was found on the ground in the park with the bloodstains all over it, and Nicole Smallman's DNA also all over it. Later that evening, you went back to the same Asda store to buy some power tape. On June 5th, 2020, you went to Morrison's on Edgware Road to pick up your Amazon purchases. But you didn't go home. You went straight to Fayette County Park. These items were all the items in your rucksack you were carrying when you entered the park. They were all intended for use in the commission of these murders. You were wearing latex gloves as you entered the park because you knew that you were about to do something terrible. This was a calculated and deliberate course, planned and carried out with precision. Secondly, there was evidence which showed the extent of your dishonesty in trying to conceal your involvement in this crime. You tried to hide the bodies in the bushes. When you attended the hospital on 2 occasions for treatment of your injury to your hand, you lied to the hospital staff about how you had injured your hand in the first place. You told the doctor at Northwick Hospital that you had been attacked by a group of boys, and you told another doctor that you had been mugged. Neither story was true. On June 16, 2020, you lied to your bank when you reported various transactions as unrecognized. These transactions went back to the 3rd of June 2020 and included the Amazon purchases, as well as the purchases on the 2 trips to Asda. Another purchase when you went to Morrison's to pick up your Amazon package, and the purchase of the 3 lottery tickets which were found in your bedroom at your mother's house. The bank replaced your card, but there was no doubt about those purchases. They were all made by you. They were not unrecognized, they were yours, and you were trying to cover your tracks. Thirdly, there is evidence about your motivation. When your mother's house was searched, the police found in your bedroom a document which was called an agreement. It was signed as me, with the name Danyal, then written in your blood. This was your document. You had written a bargain between you and someone you called the mighty king Lucifige Rofocal. You promised him that you would perform a minimum of 6 sacrifices every 6 months for as long as you were free and physically capable. You said that you would sacrifice only women, build a temple for the king, and do everything that you had promised. In return for you, the king would do something for you. You wrote in your agreement that you wanted to win the Mega Million Super Jackpot, receive fruitful rewards of wealth and power, and you would never be suspected of any crimes by the police. And that the police would never know you had any crimes or anything to do with it. I'm sure you performed these murders as part of that bargain, which you thought would bring you wealth and power. Well, the wealth and power didn't arrive. And nor did it happen that the police were never to find out about your crimes. Your DNA was all over the crime scene. There was a vast amount of camera footage to track you and other evidence to prove it was you. And your motivation became clear from the items found in your mother's house. You were tracked down and your plan failed. Bizarre though your pact with the devil may appear to others, this was your belief system, your own commitment to the murder of innocent women. He was sentenced to 35 years. When I tell you that people will do crazy things for belief in demons, angels, even God, if people believe in something enough, they'll go to extreme lengths for that belief. And this is just another example of that.